South Africa, known as the Rainbow Nation for its multiculturality, was extremely late to drop its anti-racial governing known as apartheid. This reign started in 1948 and ended year 1991. A 40-year-old dynasty of suppression and violence towards blacks is quite extraordinary. The apartheid started to face upwind when the political party ANC, the African National Congress, was formed and led by Nelson Mandela, who nowadays is known as a pacifist, a Nobel Peace Prize winner and the one who ended apartheid. The ANC was initially acting peacefully until Mandela saw no other way but violence to raise the awareness of the humiliation of blacks. Mandela was put to prison for a total of 27 years and was released in 1990. The first free presidential election was held in 1991 and Mandela was an obvious choice of president for the South Africans. Since then, South Africa has been guided towards a democratic and free future where no racism takes place. Although South Africa's development has been enormous, many hindrances are blocking the path, such as corruption and poverty. Our correspondent Prince is currently in Cape Town and will ask some locals a few questions.
Thank you. I'm currently standing here with
Joshua.
Joshua, good day, sir. So, Joshua, South Africa is the most multicultural country in the world. Is that something that you notice when you're strolling around?
Well, it's not something that comes up to mind for me. Just like South Africa as a nation, I try not to judge people by the color of their skin. There are indeed many cultures to be found here, but it's not as if I think about their origin. Everyone is welcome to South Africa.
You truly are an inhabitant of the Rainbow Nation. Let me ask you something, Joshua.
Sure thing.
And there are lots of languages here, 11 official in fact. Has this obstructed your social integration during your life?
That depends. I wouldn't necessarily call it an obstruction. I'm originally a Xhosa speaker, so it was rather difficult to understand quite a lot until I had gotten to learn Zulu, which is the biggest language. But ever since then, it has been a walk in the park for me.
Interesting, Joshua. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Over to you, Isaac.
Thank you, Prince. So for today's question, we have invited Envik, Professor in Anti-Racial History, and Bengt Akel, Doctor in Social Science. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me, gentlemen, in what way has scars been left from the apartheid regime? It was a brutal period of time and can't possibly just get brushed off so easily, right? May I hear your opinion first, Envik?
You are correct, Isaac. Institutional racism never goes forgotten, especially nowadays when there is a remarkable taboo on it. There is a great hate towards racism ever since the end of apartheid, and the government is working actively to reduce the amount of racism to zero. It appears, though, as if other problems have been a little put to the side. Corruption, for example.
I do agree with you, Mbek, but I don't believe that the other problems are forgotten, but merely weren't prioritized. The ANC, which took control of the governing of South Africa, was pretty much a one-issue party, focusing on eradicating racial inequalities. And as they got voted to govern South Africa, they didn't pretty much have any experience at all.
But the inexperience is not what causes corruption. It is based on the individuals who has the nerve to take advantage of their positions in the government.
Actually, I believe it is, because one should know that people get upset over such things.
I'm going to have to interrupt you right there, as we still haven't heard your answer, Bengt Akel.
Okay, well, segregation is, and maybe always will be, the thing that is most visible in South Africa, and is a huge leftover from the apartheid. The amount of white people not living around the capitals is next to none, and lots of people are left out of society, and the townships should neither be excluded from this matter.
True, the racial segregation of apartheid doesn't seem to have completely faded. The racial violence, though, it has been diminished almost completely.
What kind of consequences could a segregation lead to?
low literacy rate is a source of many things, and is a consequence to this segregation. It can lead to the diminishing education rates, heighten the criminality, spread the townships and poverty even further, which all pretty much lead to unemployment. It is a great task that stands before South Africa.
But there are also tendencies where a country is economically segregated, such as India, and still manages to pull off great feats and become one of the world's greatest industries that there are. And there is a chance that this might be the fate of South Africa too, as they do possess a large quantity of exotic resources such as gold or wine and so on.
But without education, or even the ability to read, not much can be done from their situation. In the countryside, pretty much everyone is indigenous, and the language situation doesn't help either, as the dominating mother tongues in the non-urban areas are the African ones. As you move towards the city, more English will be spoken, and this is a problem, as they simply can't understand the language without the schooling.
Interesting thoughts in the Bengtake. South Africa truly is a country with a history, and it doesn't seem like they will ever leave the spotlight completely due to a recent passing of President Nelson Mandela. He did indeed change the country, and he changed the world by showing that democratic ideals will always be preferred over injustice. Thank you, Albin and Bengtake, for coming here today. Tune in next week for a special episode where we will undertake the French Revolution. Thank you for listening, and have a great Easter break.